Robert Louis Stevenson. Treasure Island. Chapter 17. Narrative continued by the Doctor. The Jolly Boat's last trip. This fifth trip was very different from the others. First, the small boat we were in was much too full. There were 5 grown men, and 3 of them, Trelawney, Redruth, and the captain, were very tall. That alone was more than the boat should carry. Then we also had powder, pork, and bags of bread. The back edge of the boat was almost underwater. Several times water came into the boat, and my clothes were already wet before we had gone 100 yards. The captain made us move our weight in the boat, and we managed to balance it a little better. Even so, we were afraid to move too much. Second, the tide was now going out. A strong current was pulling us west across the bay, and then south and out to sea through the narrow channel where we had come in that morning. Even the small waves were dangerous for our heavy boat. But the worst problem was that we were being pushed away from our path and from the place where we wanted to land. If we followed the current, we would reach the shore near the other boats, where the pirates could appear at any moment. "I cannot keep the boat heading toward the stockade, sir," I said to the captain. I was steering, and he and Redruth were rowing. "The tide keeps pushing us away. Can you row harder?" "Not without filling the boat with water," he said. "You must turn her a little, sir. Turn her until you see we are making progress." I tried, and I saw that the tide kept pushing us west unless I turned the boat almost completely east, nearly at a right angle to the way we wanted to go. "We will never reach the shore like this," I said. "If this is the only way we can go, then we must go this way," the captain answered. "We must keep against the current. You see, sir, if we go too far down, we may land anywhere, and we might meet the other boats. But if we go this way, the current will become weaker, and then we can turn back along the shore." "The current is already weaker, sir," said Gray, who was sitting in the front of the boat. "You can turn a little now." "Thank you," I said, speaking to him as if nothing had happened, because we had all decided to treat him as one of us. Suddenly the captain spoke again, and his voice sounded different. "The gun," he said. "I have thought about that," I answered, because I believed he meant that they might attack the fort with it. "They cannot bring the gun ashore, and even if they could not pull it through the forest." "Look behind us, Doctor," said the captain. We had forgotten the big cannon. To our horror, we saw the 5 pirates working on it. They were removing the heavy cover from it. At the same time, I remembered that the cannonballs and the powder were still on the ship. With just one blow from an axe, all of it would be in the hands of the enemy. "Israel was Flint's gunner," said Gray in a rough voice. We took the risk and turned the boat straight toward the landing place. By now we were far enough from the strong current so we could control the boat, even though we rowed slowly. I was able to keep it moving toward our goal, but there was a problem. With this direction, the side of our boat faced the Hispaniola, not the back. We were an easy target. I could hear, as well as see, that terrible man Israel Hands putting a cannonball into place. "Who is the best shot?" asked the captain. "Mr. Trelawney, by far," I said. "Mr. Trelawney, please try to shoot one of those men, sir." "Hands, if possible," said the captain. Trelawney was very calm. He carefully prepared his gun. "Now," said the captain, "be careful, sir, or you will tip the boat. Everyone be ready to balance when he shoots." The squire lifted his gun. The rowing stopped. We leaned to the other side to keep the boat steady, and everything was done so carefully that no water came in. By this time, the pirates had turned the cannon toward us. Hands was standing at the front of it with a tool, so he was the easiest target. But we had bad luck. Just as Trelawney fired, Hands bent down. The bullet missed him, and one of the other men was hit instead. His cry was heard not only by the men on the ship, but also by many voices from the shore. I looked there and saw the other pirates running out of the trees and getting into their boats. "The boats are coming, sir," I said. "Row!" cried the captain. "We must not worry about the boat now. If we don't reach the shore, we are finished." "Only one boat is coming," I added. "The others are probably going along the shore to stop us." "They will have to run fast," said the captain. "I am not worried about them. I am worried about the cannon. It is easy to hit us. Even a servant could not miss. Tell us, Squire, when you see the fire, and we will stop rowing." At the same time, we were moving forward quite quickly for such a heavy boat, and not much water had come in. We were now very close to the shore. With 30 or 40 more strokes, we would reach land. The low tide had already shown a narrow strip of sand under the trees. We no longer feared the boat behind us because it had disappeared from view. The same tide that had slowed us before was now slowing our enemies. The only danger left was the cannon. "If I dared," said the captain, "I would stop and shoot another man." But it was clear that the pirates would fire as soon as possible. They did not even look at their injured friend, though he was still alive and trying to crawl away. "Ready!" cried the squire. "Stop!" cried the captain immediately. He and Redruth suddenly pushed hard with their oars, and the back of the boat went deep into the water. At that exact moment, the cannon fired. This was the first sound that Jim heard, because he had not heard the squire's shot before. None of us knew exactly where the cannonball passed, but I think it went over our heads, and the force of the air may have helped cause what happened next. In any case, the boat slowly sank at the back in about 1 meter of water. The captain and I were left standing, facing each other. The other 3 fell headfirst into the water and came up again, completely wet. So far, nothing terrible had happened. No one was hurt, and we could walk safely to the shore. But all our supplies were now at the bottom of the water. Even worse, only 2 of our 5 guns were still usable. I had quickly grabbed mine and held it above my head without thinking. The captain had carried his over his shoulder with the lock facing up, like a careful man. The other 3 guns were lost with the boat. To make things worse, we could already hear voices coming closer through the trees along the shore. We were in danger of being cut off from the stockade, and we were also worried about Hunter and Joyce. If they were attacked by several men, would they be able to defend the place? Hunter was steady, we knew that, but Joyce was less certain. He was a good and polite servant, but not really a fighting man. With all this in our minds, we moved through the water toward the shore as fast as we could. Behind us, we left the small boat and a large part of our powder and food.